My name is Stephanie Avetrani, and I'll be presenting on the elderly and disaster. The elderly play a crucial role in the emergency planning process before, during, and after an emergency. People with age-related disabilities have different needs at different points in the disaster cycle. Locating and understanding the high risk in the elderly population is paramount. To compensate, emergency planning should identify the visually impaired and the hearing impaired who need information in a media accessible to them, those who are mentally impaired, and individuals who use wheelchairs and/or are immobile and require extra transportation services. The Older Americans Act was created by Congress in the year 1965. This was in response to concern by policymakers about a lack of community social services for older persons. The original legislation established authority for grants to states for community planning and social services, research and development projects, and personnel training in the fields of aging. One law of the Older Americans Act created the Administration on Aging. This was an agency of the United States Department of Health and Human Services. This agency surveys the population, and surveying is a key component to help the elderly because a main component is actually being able to locate them. Often, due to disaster, mail services are inoperative. The mail is usually the only way seniors can get their Social Security check, which may be their only form of income. Plans need to be in order to ensure that in the case of a long drawn-out emergency, the elderly are taken care of. Studies show that older people are often slower to register for disaster assistance, may be at a higher nutritional risk, are often targeted by fraudulent contractors and become victims of theft, have more health problems after disaster, are often forgotten, and suffer from a pattern of neglect in receiving social support after disaster, and do not necessarily comply with disaster warnings. And here are some questions and food for thought. Judging from any disaster you have ever experienced, whether it be a real-life experience or one lived through the media, do you think the elderly are properly accounted for and taken care of during times of disaster? Was the creation of the Administration on Aging a successful movement in the locating and assisting of the elderly population in the United States? What principal alternatives can the Social Security Administration use in conjunction with FEMA and the United States Postal Service to ensure the delivery of finances to the elderly in times of disaster?